Welcome to the channel. This is Jay Mancini, where we keep the wheels rolling and the cash flowing. Today, guys, I'm going to be answering your questions. So guys, if you don't already know, make sure you're looking out for your questions being answered on these videos, the Q&As. If you've already sent me a question and it's probably been a while, make sure you're checking out the Q&As, because I'll tell you one thing, more than likely I've probably answered your question. And if I haven't already answered your question, I will get to it. Make sure you're sending me an email at info@jmancini.com, and I will respond to your question more than likely here in one of these videos. So with that being said, guys, let's dive in and answer your questions. Question I have is from Ricardo. Hello, Jay. Love the content and the advice you give out. It is very helpful. Me and my dad are buying a dump truck, and I just wanted to ask you, as far as potential clients, I know there are going to be some objections when I'm looking for work. What are some common objections you've received throughout the years, and what are some ways to overcome these objections? Ricardo, great question. Appreciate you. Appreciate the love. So first and foremost, Ricardo, if you're a young man, seems like you may be a young man, one thing I can tell you is, and reassure you, you got to have faith, man. You got to stay positive, because more than likely when you start in the business, just like any other business, okay, there's going to be a lot of doubt. And one thing I can say is, if you're a younger guy, sometimes it makes it a little harder for you. In the dump truck business, a lot of the times, some of the guys that are already in the business, that have been in business for a very long time, they kind of look at you like, hey, I don't know if this guy knows what he's doing, but I can say this to you, okay? Being a younger man has its advantages, because one thing I can say is that I know for sure you're willing to learn. It's all about willing to learn. It's all about being persistent. That's the second thing. The next thing I can tell you is, as far as objections, whenever they tell you, hey, Ricardo, what are the going rates that you have? I've said this before in several videos. One thing that you need to know is you need to know your market. Make sure that you have studied your market, okay? So that's why it's very important, before you go out there and before you actually start to give out business cards or start going to job sites or start sending emails looking for new customers, make sure that you know your market value. And what I mean by that is, what are the going rates? What are you going to be charging clients? Now, you're probably asking yourself, Jay, well, how do I find this information out? Well, I've said it before, it's very important for you to get connected to somebody locally in your area, okay? Now, if you don't have somebody in your area that you may already know, make sure you're going out there and just reaching out to people. You have to go out there and do what's called networking, okay? Now, I know you're probably a young man, but man, don't be shy. You got everything to gain and nothing to lose. Go out there and make these contacts and these connections. Reach out to some of these dump truck owner operators. Go to the quarries, the pits, go to the job sites. If you're working now, make sure you got to find that time when you have your day off and go out there and reach to these people and just start talking to them. You'd be surprised, but a lot of these guys, sometimes they really want somebody to talk to. So, one thing I can say to you is, make sure that when you talk to these guys, just ask them the questions, just tell them up front, hey, look, as you can tell, I'm a younger guy, but I'm really interested in the dump truck business. I really want to learn the dump truck business. I really want to become, owner operator. I want to have my own business and grow my trucking business, and just be straightforward with them. Ask them the questions like, hey, can you tell me how much does a dump truck usually make a day? What do they make hourly? How much do they make in a weekly basis? How busy are you guys staying out here? So these are some of the first questions that I would ask them. But most importantly, build a relationship with these guys, and not just one guy. Because obviously you may go up to some guy and he may just not want to talk to you. But again, don't be shy. You got to be persistent and just start talking to different guys and start building reports with them. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I know a guy that came over from another country in the Caribbean. This was back in 2015, okay? Young guy, and younger than myself. And when he came over, the guy didn't even know how to speak English, to be very honest with you. All he spoke was Spanish. And I'll never forget, I hired somebody to come onto one of our job sites, and that guy brought him along because he was looking for work. Well, the guy didn't know anybody but that one guy, okay? And that's all it took for him to take off in the dump truck business, okay? So what I'm saying to you is, all it takes is for you to talk sometimes to one person. But again, reach out to multiple people, and don't be shy, and go and talk to these guys that are owner operators. Again, whether they're in pits and quarries, job sites, just go out there, reach out to them, get their phone number, and, ask them, hey, is there anything I can do to help you out in return, right? And just be very straightforward, be genuine. Well, going back to the story with this guy that I was telling you about in 2015, he didn't know anybody, okay? And what's even crazier, he bought a dump truck without knowing anybody and without even having any work, but he knew one guy, okay? That one guy brought him along to one of our job sites, okay? And this guy's name is Rick, okay? in Spanish, is which is funny, is the Spanish I think is Ricardo, right? When he came onto one of our jobs, he didn't know any English. And so naturally, the only one guy that brought him along, he was kind of tagging along with him from one job site to another. But when he got to our job site, he had the courage one day to get off his truck and come and talk to me. He didn't know who I was. He just knew, hey, that's the guy in charge, right? And he came up to me and he started talking to me and he asked me, he said, hey, I would love to work directly with you. How can I work with you? How can I get on more of your job site? And he really honestly just started to pick my brain. And I could tell the guy was being genuine. And because I could tell he was being genuine, I kind of opened up, you know, and even though I was busy during that time, I was like, hey, you know what? Here's my phone number. Feel free to call me. If I don't answer, send me a text and let's stay in touch. Well, guess what? The guy, fast forward, okay, 9 years later, that was in 2015. That guy now, not only with his 6 dump trucks, well, he's also actually one of our dispatchers now. So he built a rapport with me, and 9 years later, he not only has his trucks, but also he dispatches. So he helps us gather up numerous trucks on numerous jobs. And he's one of the reasons why we're also successful. So I tell you that story just to tell you this, Ricardo, everything and anything is possible. Again, going back to the beginning, you just have to have faith, number 1. Number 2, you have to be persistent. And number 3, you have to stay committed. All right, Ricardo, so one of the things that I want to add as far as a common objection, and one of the things I got probably the most, and it's probably going to be one of the first questions that they're going to ask you, is how many trucks can you get? So let's say you go out to a job site and you're handing out your business card, or you're speaking to a project manager or superintendent, whoever may be on the job site, and they may be the person in charge of actually either giving you work or connecting you with the person who can give you work, right? So with that being said, more than likely, one of the first questions they're going to ask you is, Ricardo, how many trucks do you own, or how many trucks do you have? Now, I said this before at one of the lives, one of the webinars, right? When they ask you this question, you need to answer, how many trucks do you need? Okay, so once again, if I'm that guy and I'm asking you, Ricardo, how many trucks do you have, or how many trucks do you own? You need to reply with the following. Well, Mr. J, how many trucks do you need? Why? Because really what they want to know is, how many trucks can you help them with? Now, this job, let's just role play here. This job, Ricardo, requires 5 trucks every day. So this is where you come and you say, okay, you need 5 trucks every day. You need to know, hey, I need to go out and I need to get 5 trucks to help this contractor or this company on their job. Now, if you're only 1 truck and that's all you have, then that's okay. Just be very honest with them and just say, Mr. J, appreciate you for asking me, but listen, right now, I only have 1 truck. I can help you every day and I'm committed to help you with my 1 truck. Again, that's why it's important to always ask, how many trucks do you need? Because you never know. He may only be needing 1 truck, right? But if he needs 5 or he needs 10 trucks, now you know what he's looking for. And also, you never know, you may be able to contact or connect yourself with other guys, like I mentioned, other owner operators, and guess what? You may be able to give them work as well. You may be able to build that rapport, build that relationship, like I was saying from the beginning, and there's nothing wrong with that. Even if you just started, even if you're new to the business, it's the same process I went through. It's okay. You don't know until you do things, and sometimes it's okay to also learn while we're on the job, all right? So with that being said, that's the first thing you may get asked, okay? How many trucks do you have, or how many trucks can you provide? So be looking out for that question and be ready to answer that question, Ricardo. Another objection that I commonly used to get when I first started in the business was the following. Do you have a place to take the material or to dispose of this material? Now, I don't know where you're located, okay, what city or what state you're in, but here in the greater Houston area, one of the things that is very common is what we call haul off, meaning we haul off a lot of excess dirt or excess material or concrete rubble. And then what the contractor wants to know is, do you have a place to haul it off to? Why? Because they got 100 different things going on. And so you as a trucker, your responsibility half of the time is to have a place to take this material. So be ready for that question as well. Do you have a place to haul it off? So let's just say you're on the west side of town in your city. Do you have a place located on the west side of town where you can get rid of that material? That's going to be probably one of the questions that they're going to ask you the most, or one of the objections. So be ready for that question as well. Last but not least, one question that I also got quite often was the following. Are you insured? So of course you're going to say yes, right? Because I talked about this on several videos. Are you insured? Do you have insurance? And you got to say yes. So you got to make sure, like I've said in several videos, you have a GL and you also have your trucking insurance on your truck or your trucks, okay? Got to have both of them. So make sure you keep that in mind because they were more than likely going to ask you that question as well. Now, with that being said, Ricardo, those are going to probably be the three objections or the three questions that you're probably going to get asked right off the bat. All right, next question that I have here is from Christina. Christina, hi, my name is Christina with Tier 1 Logistics, a fresh startup for dump truck brokerage. I love your content and I'm interested in learning more. Do you have any physical or digital products available for purchase or do you do mentorship? Hey, Christina, thank you so much. I appreciate you reaching out to me. Thank you for your email. We're working on something really big, something really special for everybody. And I can't give you a little hint. It starts with C, okay, ends with Y. You can kind of put it together. But I'll just say community. We're working on a big community so that everybody can learn from one another and yours truly can hopefully be of more value for you guys. So with that being said, that's coming in the works. So stay tuned and we'll let you know when that community is up and running, available for everybody. All right, guys. So I hope you found this Q&A valuable. You already know, guys, if you have questions, feel free to send me the emails. We're going to get to your questions and be looking out for these videos because I'm trying to answer everybody's questions and put them on this type of video so that you can get a direct response from me. All right, guys. So with that being said, you already know what we do here. We keep the wheels rolling and the cash flowing. And you know what we do? We see you on the next one.